and welcome back to the Think Tank Podcast. I am your host, Randy Hayes. Thank you for joining us again. I am super excited about the guest that I'm brought on today. I had to chase her down. I actually jumped in the comment section and, to my surprise, she said, all right, let's go. Let's do it. This young lady is a very successful entrepreneur. She's actually responsible for one of the products that I have in my hair right now. Alyssa, I also call her Fluff Queen. How are you doing this evening?
What's up? You can just call me Fluff. That's what everybody call me.
There you go, Fluff. So good to have you with us this evening.
It's nice to be here.
She has been running a business called My Fluffy Puffs and has several products. If you are in the wave community and you didn't know about My Fluffy Puffs, shame on you. I mean, high quality products. And, once I found out about her on TikTok and was able to follow some of her journey that we're going to get into tonight, I thought it was a great topic for us to cover for today. So before we get into all of that, Fluff, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Where it is that you're from, where you live, and what it is that you do.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa, but everybody knows me as Fluff, and I'm from Boston. I'm a soap maker. I love making soap. I like making products with my hands. I like working with my hands. And I started my brand, almost 4 years ago. It's been almost 4 years now. And I had no idea the wave community even existed when I first started. But it really did welcome me in and really did help propel my brand and my platform. And I since closed recently, but I have really tried to just show customers a better way of doing their wash day that takes less time and simplifying the process, but using less, wasting less. That was my goal. My brand is unisex. I got 60% of women, but got a good double digit for men as well. So it was a really fun time with that company.
That's dope, man. Honestly, I would have thought, man, as much as I saw your internet presence with the wave community, which I follow a little bit, that would have been something that was very prominent. But we're gonna unpack all of that, man. Just do me a favor. Kind of tell us how you got into business. How did it start?
Okay, so I got in because I saved my money from my job, and I got into a car accident actually. And when I got to the car accident, I was trying to heal, and I had this downtime. And I was thinking, man, I'm almost 30. Maybe I should start. And when I started, I had no idea of what I was doing. It's my first business, and I started really small online, and I just started with 3 products, just 3. And the women really liked it. And then I didn't realize at the time that men were using it too. And I'd be like, why the heck are these guys buying my stuff? It's, you know what I mean? What's going on? And I started trying to do some snooping around on Facebook to see who are these people, right? And then one of the customers noticed me on Twitter, and he was like, hey, you should join this Facebook group. And I was like, why would I join a page of guys? Why would I do that? And he was like, no, it's waivers and this. And I thought that you guys were blue magic professionals. That's all y'all do is use grease, some Dax.
Not the old Murrays, not the Murrays.
The Dax, the Murrays, all of that. I had no idea that you guys had any type of I don't know. That's what I thought. I had no clue. So I joined, and I would just sit back and watch. The first page I joined was from Baldy, right? When he was an admin over on ES, Elite Spins. And I would just watch the page. And then he was recommending my stuff and other people were buying it. And I'm like, where'd these guys come from? And they were buying my bar. I only made 1 bar at the time.
Mhm.
They would scoop and buy that stuff up. And
Now I gotta slow you down for a second. Couple things. So so you started this business, and your target audience was ladies.
women.
You were trying to start it was pretty much like a beauty bar that you made, right?
It was a cleansing bar. It was a shampoo bar. It was a Rasul shampoo bar that I made. But
What is a shampoo bar?
Okay, let's get into it, because it's not just a bar.
Because I just think of Dove, you know what I'm saying?
There's body bars.
Body bars. Okay.
There's body bars that are good for your skin and your body, but the skin on your face is different, right? Your skin barrier is different, your scalp. So the cleansing bar I made was pure clay. It was made of clay. So it was more like a clarified. It was a natural clarified. And I think that's why the waivers liked it, because it could get all the dirt out with one wash. You don't have to wash over and over and over again. And it will lift all the oil, the dirt, all of that. Boom. The lather on that bar was dumb crazy.
Yeah.
So they love the lather because they're like, oh, this is going to help.
We love our lather. In the wave community, it is all about the lather.
Yes, it is, but not all lather's the same, right?
Okay.
Some lather leaves residue.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
some lather.
No. That's good. That's good.
Some lather leaves residue. Some lather makes your hair feel so freaking dry, and you know what I mean. And then the lather is just a byproduct of soap. It's not, you know what I mean. It's just the effect of the soap. But with you guys love combing or brushing your hair with lather to reduce friction, right? That's how you guys stay from going bald, right? You get the pattern corrected during your shower or your wash session, because you're using the lather, and then you have to thoroughly rinse that out. With the Rasul bar, because it was like a clarifying bar, you don't have to wash multiple times over and over again for a clean scalp. So you get that big, thick lather you need on one session, and you can just make that work and then thoroughly rinse your hair out. And I didn't realize that's how you guys were using my bar. Just the women, we're using the bar. Oh, we use it on our face. Oh, we use it on our skin. You know what I mean? You guys was like, no other natural hair group brushes or combs their hair when wet. But wavers.
Yeah. So you got introduced to this group. You thought it was like a group of kind of grease heads or whatever you said. I don't remember what you said the other day, man, but
babies. Blue magic babies.
Blue magic babies. So you get into this group, and we did mention some of these other products that people have been using for 30 years, and that's no shade on these products, because you know what, you can get really, really good waves with whatever method. There's different ways to get there, but once we're in an information age where now you can learn all these hacks. I would dare say there probably weren't people, throwing do-rags on with suds, galore coming off of their head, 30 years ago.
Right.
Okay. Maybe they were brushing 10,000 times, but now you see in videos people going from having a nap pro to, applying some wave slime, doing a quick brush session, getting, the suds going, putting do-rag 1 on, putting do-rag 2 on, and they come out and it looks like they've been brushing their hair for 20 hours straight. So there's levels to this thing. So no shade on anybody who's got the old school methods. I'm still kind of learning some of these new school methods. Some of it it's stretching me. And I gotta say this, man. Shout out to my little nephew, Keelan. He's not so little anymore. I think he's 15 years old. And he's got like these crazy waves. So every time we come together, we do like this wave check and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So I gave him, some of the wave slide in his own bottle. And yeah, he stays with it, man. So he keeps me accountable. And that's what a lot of that, wave check is about, man. And anybody who knew that I was going to interview you today, they knew that I was nervous because I got to ask this question. It might get my feelings hurt, but I got to know. So what do you rate the waves, man? What do you rate the waves right now? Go ahead.
Okay, I ain't even seen your crown yet. I ain't seen your crown.
Hold on. I'm gonna cheat, man, because I got this halo light. I'm gonna cheat a little bit.
Yeah. Let me see that crown though. Oh, hi.
I can't do all the way spin. I can't do the all the way spin, but
okay. You working? You know what I'm saying? You just got to correct that back. You see, you only got a couple force.
I got a little tsunami back there,
Yeah,
man. Let me get
working.
right.
Working.
Hold on. Because I didn't hear anything you said because I didn't have my headphones on. All right.
I said you working. You know what I mean? Got to correct that back. I see you got a couple forks, but not that bad. You good.
Yeah. All right.
Good.
Thank you. See, I'm not even at the mirror brushing phase yet.
Oh, all right.
And I need to get like the little crown caps. And so look, I know I'm intermediate.
Intermediate.
I know.
Intermediate wave up.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But one thing about me, I'm gonna get there.
That's right.
I'm gonna get there. So don't even worry about it.
Keep it simple. It's cold sessions. That's what it is, right?
All right. Well, since we started talking a little bit about, hair health, why don't we just go ahead and expound on that, and I'll come back to some of these other topics. So, one of my boys, I was telling him about this interview, and I was excited to do this interview with you.
Mm-hmm.
He's bald,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was like, well, she had other products too, man. She had clay masks, she had all these things on, but there's so many misnomers about balding and hair restoration, hair health, whether you're bald, whether you have dreads, whatever the case is, and I thought that you brought up some great points the other day when we spoke. So can you just speak on, the need for, having good hair health for me?
Okay. I think what we talked about the other day was how the scalp has your largest pores in your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's people who are experiencing thinning. They have, alopecia. Well, alopecia, all that word means is hair loss. That's all it means. And there's different types of hair loss. And a lot of times with men, it's either stress-induced or it's hereditary, or they don't understand that they're doing something to help accelerate their hair loss, like wearing hats all the time, not allowing their scalp to breathe, not realizing that hats have dyes, right? Most of this stuff comes from other countries. And those dyes go into what? Your pores. And it clogs your pores. And if you don't understand how important it is to wash, which wavers do, but a lot of men don't. You don't understand how important it is to keep it clean.
Some waivers do. Some waivers do.
Some waivers do.
Let me throw that out there, because there's also a caked up bunch.
Yes, but I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
I'm talking in general.
No, my bad.
If your friend is bald, they have to look back on their family history, if it's hereditary or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have to assess, when did they start balding, right? Are they taking in too much sodium or sugar in their diet? Do they have issues with their blood pressure? Are they on blood pressure medication, which affects hair loss in men, right?
Right.
And there's things that you have to just ascertain first, and then you could see like, oh, is it possible he could recover or not, or is this the way it is?
No doubt. And then also, for those who have dread, so a lot of this has to do with, and it goes back to the product, making sure that you have a clean scalp where the pores are clear, Some people think, when they have like a hairdo, like, dreads, that maybe they're going to wait a long time before they, shampoo it, right?
Oh, before they cleanse because they don't call them dreads. Well, most of them don't, right? It's locks, right? So
Locks.
it's like they're relying on their new growth.
My bad.
They're relying on their new growth, right? And they don't want to interlock frequently because that causes breakage at the root, right? At the base of the head, I should say, the base. So that they can, I don't have to wash as often. But then you have to think about how a lot of people who would probably like dreads suffer from seborrheic dermatitis. They have no choice. They have to. You are constantly sweating, whether you realize it or not. You're constantly collecting bacteria on your body, whether you realize it or not. And that includes your scalp. So there has to be some type of like happy medium where for locks, it's very important not to leave any residue, product residue. And there has to be some type of happy medium where you can cleanse your scalp, still rely on your new growth before you go get, your interlocks touched up, retwisted or whatnot. You know what I mean? It's very important not to let bacteria grow. It's important not to let it just sit there. And sometimes you see these crazy Instagram videos of people with locks and it looks like they haven't washed their hair in 8 years. Mm-hmm. And like they do an apple cider vinegar. And it's like, bro, you're going to the extreme now. Apple cider vinegar on a pH level? Mm-hmm. Whoa. You're just blowing your freaking follicles open now. It's like overkill because you waited so long and you don't have to do that. You don't need baking soda in your head to keep it clean or apple cider vinegar. It's taking things too far. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Okay. Well, we're talking about that transition, once you were introduced into the waiver community, what sort of pivot or what sort of adjustments did you make in your business model then?
So because everything we had was unisex, I really didn't have to adjust much.
Okay.
And what happened with me was I had an original product line, a pre-product, like I said, but I ended up losing so much money my first year because I hired a shipping company. Mm-hmm. And I was paying them out of pocket. And then when I realized how much I spent versus how much I made, I was like, whoa, I made $0. I made sales that I had zero profit to show. I had to make some drastic changes. I ended up updating the entire line. And we first started out with a foam cleanser for the face for sensitive skin. And it was just one summer, I said, let's just do something for the waivers. You know what I mean? And I made these little 1 ounce containers of wave slime. And I said, I'm giving 100 of these for free. And I gave 100 of those for free and that blew up. And I was back ordered. It was killing me because I was working. You know what I mean? I always had my job.
I wish I knew about you then, man.
It was just a small little thing. It was a small little 1 ounce thing. And a little sticker on it. And it's wave slime. And it was yellow. And it had jojoba beads in it. And people was like, what the heck is that? It was, because it's not liquid. It's not a bar, right? It was different. I was just playing around. And that thing took off. It took off.
How so? What does taking off look like?
Taking off means that I had so many orders. I was back ordered for weeks trying to fulfill orders. And I was taking time off work just to try to catch up. And then people was like, you need to start making this. And I started making it. And, they just liked it. They liked it. And I started making minis after that. I started making minis, the little 4 ounce, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And people was like, this is perfect size, blah, blah, blah. I can take this with me. I can go to the gym, clean my hair real quick. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I was like, oh, okay. And yes. That really gave the business a new line of revenue that I really wasn't prepared for. Because I was like, oh, I meant to do this one time. I don't have
What was it? A good problem? or
it
not?
was a good problem.
It's a good
It was
problem.
just that I was small and I'm
Right.
one person and I'm still working at this point, right? Like I'm still working this entire time. And I'm like, I don't work a straight 40 hours. I'm on call. I got to work in weather emergencies. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't realize the demand how it grew from the wave community.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy. Like it was crazy. I was stressed, but it was a good stress.
That's what's up, man. So, for those who are interested in getting into like, the wave community, or if you're already into it, who are some of the people that you'd recommend them following?
Oh my goodness. I have to say Gifted. I like Gifted.
That's how I found you. Gifted Barber.
Gifted. You know what I call him in our chat? Gifted. Yeah, what do I call him? I call him something crazy. Always smiling ass nigga. He's so positive, right? He's very positive. Gifted is energetic. He's pure energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who else would I recommend? I would recommend Big T because he's been around. He's seen a lot and he just minds his business. And his pattern is complete. There's a lot of waivers I give advice, but they never complete a pattern, bro.
Right.
What's up? What is up with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, but T, he just mind his business. He on affiliates. He cool, whatever. And then I would say Musty. I call him Musty. That would be LSP Wavy.
LSP Wavy.
I call him Musty because he has a bad attitude all the time. So, LSP Wavy. You know what I mean? He's really grown like his YouTube. He's focused in what he says, but then he's like also given a lot of knowledge that you could use and you could self-cut your hair. You know what I mean? Like he's teaching people how to take care of their hair on their own.
Right.
Without a barbershop. So I like that aspect of it. So you get to take that with you and apply it yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so did you mention Overwash?
Overwashing?
Overwash? Mr. Overwash?
Oh, Tef.
That's Tef. Okay, so I call him
Tef.
See, I don't know him.
Like,
I know him, so I call him Mr. Overwash. Shout out Tef, Mr. Overwash.
Tef.
Look, I'm window shopping. You know all these, man. Let's just get into let's just get into this because you know these folks. As products continue to these sales continue to come in, you had the demand. You responded to the demand. You're like, okay, I hear y'all. I'm gonna make more of these products, and there's like this ascension that's taking place, and now you went from kind of seeing what's going on in this community. You're fully immersed in this community now.
Right.
You're in the middle of this community. You got at some point, right, like brand ambassadors and going to shows. Just tell us a little bit about how things go.
We didn't always have brand ambassadors. No, we didn't always have brand ambassadors. When I first started, it was just customers, word of mouth. That was it. That's what we relied on. That was organic growth. That was grassroots. And then I realized some of these customers can be like mobilized, right? These are the people that are buying. These people I talk to in the inbox.
Right.
Why not make them ambassadors? Why not pay them for their content? Why not, show them exactly what we need so that when we develop in these campaigns, they can rock with us. You know what I'm saying? Because they've already proven that they are loyal customers from start to jump. So let's do this. And that's what it was. It was me hitting people up like Shell or RG3. They was already buying. Hey, would you mind being a brand ambassador? And then it was, okay, I will pay you for your content at a flat rate. She was like, all right, cool. It's almost like, and then I'm giving them product. I'm not making them buy. So I'm literally sending them product every month. And then like, hey, you develop this content. I pay you this much for YouTube. I pay you this much for IG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a way of being like showing support, but also paying them for their work.
So part of the beauty of that, man, because we haven't really even gotten too much into the social media aspect of it yet, right? Part of the beauty of it is like I said, I found you through, Gifted, and I don't even know how I found Gifted, but when I found you and started following you and buying your products, next thing I know, the algorithm's like, oh, you want more of this? You know what I'm saying? You know how the algorithm does. Now it's like you getting downloaded into the matrix at this point. So, next thing I know, I'm seeing all these different people, man, and it's all coming back to you. Like, I'm serious. Like, when I tell you that Fluff did that, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta give flowers, Fluff. Like, when I say you did,
it was a lot of mistakes along the way, like learning how to market product and then learning how to build community. You know what I mean? And it was hard because what I realized in retrospect, and this is something that I mean this, but I realized in retrospect was the business started growing from under me and I couldn't keep up. It was like either quit my job, do this business, quit the business and do the job. You know what I mean? And I made that decision, but it was just like, it was so much like at that time where we went from doing like, maybe when I first started, I would be happy to have 40 orders a month when I first started 4 years ago. Then it was like 800, 1,000, 1,100 orders. And it's like, I am working while I'm trying to do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it is, and I gotta make every single product and I make every single product. You know what I mean? So it was like.
And it sounds like it wasn't something that was like, that you necessarily saw on the horizon, like this is a decision I'm gonna have to make at some point. It kind of just hit you because
it was like I was trying to catch up to the progress. Almost like it was like, man, I gotta find people I gotta hire people. I can't hire nobody because like everyone's getting their PPE or everyone's getting the doggone unemployment extras. Like I'm trying to hire people and I can't hire nobody. That happened. Like it was like, oh, I need to find funding now. I can't just bootstrap this with my cash. Like I need loans now. You know what I'm saying? I could take an inventory and like what I realized is that where I messed up was I was so busy with that stuff. I wasn't showing attention to the community that I built up. That's where I needed to be. But it was like, I couldn't buy my time back the way I wanted to as we scaled.
So what would you say to, you said you couldn't pay attention to the community that you were building.
That's just my customers. Like, it was like, I was taking 1,000 orders. I'm getting inundated with emails, inundated with live chat. People want immediate response.
So like engagement.
It's a competitive market. You know what I mean? When you have behemoths like Amazon that have customer service agents giving you a live chat in a couple of seconds. And here's my small business. Well, you're going to take a couple of days. People don't like that. You know what I mean? You got to be competitive with shipping and everything else. And it was just like, we're doing great. But I couldn't keep up with the pace as one person. It was literally burning me. Like it was burying me. And it was crazy because the more money we made, I was not even happy. I was just like this. Like I gotta do this all over again next month. You know what I mean? So like I don't have no time to myself. I don't eat breakfast. I don't have any time. I always feel like I'm chasing. Those are the things that I learned. You know what I mean? And I like we did in the last 2 years of business, we did about 16,000 orders. So and then like every average order is like 3 pieces. So multiply that by 3. That's handmade, hand labeled, hand packaged, hand shipped. You know what I'm saying? Like this is work. I would go to work, right? And my supervisor, he never liked me, and I don't like him. I'll call him Mr. Potato Head and shit.
Girl.
Yeah, because we union, so it's not like he gonna fire me. You know what I'm saying?
Girl.
I'd be like, fuck you, Mr. Potato Head.
Girl. Come on now. Come on.
That's the beauty of the union.
Come back, Fluff.
The beauty is the union is that The beauty of the
Fluff.
union is like after 5 years, you're guaranteed employment. So it's pretty much like, do you want this work or not? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Come back, Fluff.
bro would be straight violent, trying to embarrass me in front of like the water department on site and stuff. And I'd be like, yo, fuck you, Mr. Potato Head. We already did this work. You out here coming out here with no vest on, talking to me like that. Calm down.
Come
Like,
back.
yeah, straight attitude. Straight
Okay.
Boston. Very Boston
Yes.
attitude, right?
Yes. Yes.
But
yes.
but I would go to work, right?
Mhm.
And I'd be like, I'm dealing with this stuff from work. And I would make my whole year's salary in like 2.5 months. And I would still be working. You know what I'm saying? Like 2.5, 3 months, whole year's salary. And I'm still working. And I'd just be like, why am I still working? Because to me, it was like, oh, always have a backup. Can't rely on just, whatever's going on with the business. Always have something, you know what I'm saying? Saving money. I really live below my means. I had an apartment. You know what I mean? I'm doing all this stuff. And I had my warehouse, we rented space and all that and everything. And I had one assistant. He was cool as fuck. Daryl, he was cool as shit. And he really helped he took a lot of burden off me too. Just packing orders or shipping or dealing with customers and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, we needed like a whole entire team at this point. We needed like 3 other people at this point. The growth was crazy. There was 173% growth from 2019 to 2020. 173%.
Wow.
And then we're doing this stuff like, mom and pop shop.
Let me slow it down for a second because, a lot of entrepreneurs, they think they're ready. They think they want, these challenges that you're talking about because, if you're an entrepreneur, at some point in time, if you're really serious about this, if it's something that you're passionate about, the goal is for you to scale, right? That's the goal. And then, you also mentioned, so that's on one front. And then you also mentioned on the other front, coming to that fork in the road where you're like, okay, there is a direct conflict between me staying at maybe my full-time job or whatever I have going on and, jumping in the deep end with this business. So these are places that, many of us entrepreneurs are aspiring to get to, right? And this just like came at you like almost out of the middle of nowhere, right? Like,
it wasn't out the middle of nowhere. It was already like, everything was already aligning with how we work behind the scenes. It just was that, it was just that when the time came, like a lot of entrepreneurs, like you said, they're looking at, oh, these are good problems. What they're looking at is the reward.
Yeah.
They're not looking at the process of how it takes to get there. They're looking at, if I make a website and have a product, people are going to buy from me.
Yes.
You don't have a strategy, bro. You're not strategizing.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
You're not strategizing. You're looking around and you're kind of comparing yourself to the next person and thinking, if I copy them, I'll get the same thing. That's not it. That's not it. If you're not preparing yourself on the back end, you can never match your front end. So that's like with us, it was like we were preparing ourselves to scale. And then when it happened like it was like I said, in 1 year, it was so much. Like I said, I owe loans now. I'm owing loans with PayPal, Shopify, bank, another creditor. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally stacking loans at this point. Like the Shopify loan, if they give you 30 grand, I can blow that in a month. That's not doing nothing for me. Because it was like, was beyond buying the inventory and everything else, and the overhead, and trying to plan out months in advance what we're going to do. We're planning out, we're not working at just today. We're working, I keep 3 months stock of everything I need You know what I mean? I'm buying machines now. It was a lot, and it was a lot. And like I said, I really learned a lot of lessons. And I know there's a lot of small BOBs that want to expand or whatnot, but it's like, if you're trying to be like everybody else, you have no distinction about yourself.
Right.
You're not developing your community. You're just relying on the wave community in general. And that's it. That's all you're doing. So that's all you're going to scale up to. And if that's fine, that's fine. But to be honest, a lot of these wavers, what do y'all do? You guys change your hairstyles all the time. Sometimes you grow your hair out, right?
Yep.
Sometimes a lot of y'all go back to locks. Sometimes you cut it off and come back to waves.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think beyond just the community where you're familiar with and your approach to the market. That's why I said we're unisex. We had women as our base, and when we were making wave slime, they were buying that too.
Word.
She was buying it too. They was like, this is kind of cool. Oh, I like this one. What's the pink one called? Something like Killer Slime?
Killer Cat. Yeah, you had.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you like that? Oh, yeah, it smells so good. I like it for me. Oh, okay. Alrighty then.
Yeah, you had Wayne. You had a whole bunch of different lines.
I'm big into pop art. I'm big into pop culture. I was going to do, before it happened, I was going to do a Dolph slime. I was going to do a young Dolph one. That would have been fire.
Oh.
It would have been fire. But then when everything happened, I was like, nah, the same thing with Nipsey. But before it happened, I was thinking maybe. But then it happened, so I was like, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I like playing around with pop culture, right? We was doing X when X was still here with us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I could do Wu-Tang because Raekwon follows me, and I talk to him in the inbox every now and then.
Yeah.
So he was like, cool. When we did the Wu slime,
Look, you mentioned Raekwon, so my barber, my barber, Jay. She mentioned Raekwon. He been telling me, man. You know what I'm saying? You could change up the whole pattern and just have it going down the middle and just. I'm like, I don't know, man. And now he get me. You just had to mention him, man.
Oh, we had Raekwon. We had
Raekwon.
Bugsy, the grind rapper in the UK.
He was talking about Tracy Morgan too, man.
Not Tracy Morgan. We had like a comedian. We had Peter Torado. He's a comedian out in LA. We had a couple other celebs and whatnot. Dang, we had a couple of women celebs too. Like comedians that are on YouTube and comedians on Facebook.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So that was cool.
That's dope, man. So, we got
Rich
a lot.
Homie Quan. Forgot about this cat when he had waves.
Yeah.
Forgot about
So,
this, though.
You know, we talked a little bit about, you know, the journey and some of the pivots that are going on, but I really want to dive a little bit deeper into that. Do you mind if we take a quick break and then we come back from a break? We can kind of get into some of these nuts and bolts because, you know, you got a lot of wisdom with that experience.
All right.
You good with that?
Yep.
All right. Very good. Well, when we come back from break, we'll have a little bit more from Miss Fluff, Alyssa, Fluff Queen, whatever. Yeah, you got it, man. More when we come back.
All right.
And welcome back from break. We have been joined by Miss Alyssa, aka Fluff.
Hi.
We've been talking over some great information, man. She's already kind of dug into some of the keys, man. But I really want to talk in the second session about just diving a little bit deeper into some things, man. You know, like what's the importance of taking an inventory in your life and also in your business as an entrepreneur? You know, you mentioned that you're, you know, for a long time and for most of us, man, in the business, you know, you were a one-man wrecking crew. So a lot of people, you know, they may have a LLC or S corp, you know, or a sole proprietorship or whatever the case is. maybe a big name, but behind it is just them. So especially when in those cases, what's the importance of taking an inventory in your life?
What I learned was, because I worked or whatever, to me, I don't have a goldfish. I don't have kids. I'm single. So it's like, this money I got from my job, I was bootstrapping from a business. I could have just relied on my credit, which I started to do later on, but I could have done that earlier. It's very hard for small businesses, startups, and corps, what have you, just to secure funding. It's hard. It's harder for minorities. I have a great relationship with my bank, and they would not give me a bank loan. They told me that e-commerce is high risk. They told me that because I don't have a brick and mortar store for the soap business, that there's no collateral, and that because we're 2 years that we don't qualify. So it's like the first 2 years, what are you doing? You're scratching just to get by, right?
Right.
Some of these people take a big, huge risk, taking a loan, hoping that it works out. Some people just was like, I can only move or do so much because I can only this much into the business. I can only invest this much at this time, And a lot of small businesses rely on their sales to carry them through, but you shouldn't. Those sales, that money you make is not supposed to be touched. It's not supposed to be part of your income, bro.
Right.
That's supposed to be money you put in the bank.
Right.
You're building your capital. The more capital you have built up, the easier it is to get a loan. But you're out here spending the money that you made that month on buying personal stuff. You work it backwards. That's why you start every month at zero. That's why you have to have these crazy, ridiculous sales. You're not, you know what I mean? The one thing that's in retrospect is the earlier you make your mistakes, the better. Rather make your mistakes when you're small than when you're larger, right? And also, you have to unlearn the way you deal with money. You have to unlearn the way you deal with credit. You have to understand how business credit works versus personal credit. You have to understand that you got to build relationships and keep them in good standing in order to get more business credit. The more business credit you can rely on, the less headache it is off your back. And it's longer business term, longer loan terms, right? Where you can pay the money back in longer terms and then less interest on using your personal. Yeah, when we first started, I was like, oh, okay, I got 30 grand. I could do this. You know what I'm saying? But I shouldn't be touching my money. I was using my credit cards. She never did that stuff. I thought that, oh, that's what I had to do. I thought I needed to do that. But I didn't. You know what I mean? And then also, too, not every loan is a good loan. A lot of these lenders out here, if they're alternative lenders and they're not straight from the bank, it's not SDIC insured money, bro. Do you know these people will take your business if you don't pay them back? If you miss a loan payment, you know they will shut your bank account down? Did you know that? It's all in the writing. All in the writing. One time, I missed the loan payment. I missed the loan payment on all credit loan. These cats took $8 grand out of my bank the next day. $8 grand.
Not playing.
I was like this, what just happened? Like, well, you missed one payment. One payment, bro? I missed it by like a day and a half. A day and a half.
They out for blood.
Because they're not banks. They're lenders. Totally different. This is stuff that small businesses don't think of because they're like, oh, I thought that if I grow and I make sales, it'd be easier. No, it's not. It gets worse. It's harder. It's harder. You gotta make sure you're in good standing to qualify for a loan. And I was getting bank loans, but I still had alternative loans too. You know what I mean? It was like, man, it was crazy. I had, Divvy, companies like that, like 30,000 credit limit and all that mess. And it was like, man, by the time I pay for gas, by the time I pay for this, by the time I pay for this, by the time I pay for that, and I'm thinking of how much I have to pay back because it's a charge card. It's not a debit, it's a charge card. You're going to pay back in the same 30-day period. How much money am I burning? You know what I mean? I made a lot of mistakes behind the scenes, but we grew too, right? And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to handle money. These are things my parents didn't tell me. Listen, to be honest, my parents grew up poor. We grew up poor. So how are they going to tell me something they don't know? And now I'm doing this stuff on my own. They didn't have business. How do they know? They don't know. Who am I going to go to? You know what I'm saying? I was hiring marketing firms and stuff. They were taking money out and not doing no work. I'm like, I can do this myself. I need to condense.
Hold on. Look, I can hear the audience like right now, you know, because there's always the peanut gallery, right, Alyssa? There's always the peanut gallery. And they're like, if I got a 30K load, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna quote our polarizing brother Kanye when he was talking to Sway, and he said, "You don't have the answers, okay?" You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all think y'all understand, but if you can be transparent with us, Fluff, how do you think you could have, you know, in retrospect, are there any cases where you could have been like a better steward, or maybe went another direction when you did come into it?
The way I should have did it was I should have said, okay, it's time for me to find help or a partner, a business partner. I wish I had a business partner, because then we could figure out exactly what direction we want to go to, and then how to get into retail, big stores. I could have positioned myself to do that, and I didn't. I held back because I was scared about how much more orders we would absorb, and how I'm already overwhelmed with the current flow of things, right? I'm like, I'm doing 1,000 miles out. I can't. I could go into Target. Target has a great regional program, you know, and they look for small businesses in every metro city. And I could have went in there, but I was like, I can't handle that over here. There's too much. I wish I did things differently. I could have pivoted earlier. If I pivoted earlier, and that's another thing, I wasn't aware of how COVID changed everything, to be honest. And people don't realize it. Like I said, we started going 2019 into 2020. It was that same period. And COVID changed everything. You know, from the supply chain, vendors, the cost of everything was starting to go up. And then it was like, people was freaking out everywhere. I stopped taking returns because I didn't know if COVID was going to be on the return. You know what I mean? It was a crazy time. Like, we didn't know nothing about this.
Right.
So that's right. Then, it was like, nah, we don't do refunds just in case COVID. Like, if you cough on this, you got to keep it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a crazy time. And then banks would start locking up. They were locking up. And so it was like, I would go to the bank like, hey, we made this much money. We made this. Here's everything. You know, we would like to get on. Nah, no. Because so many businesses were closing. There were so many businesses starting to just freaking close because of COVID. So us being a young business, they was like, oh, nah, fam. Nah, we're not taking the chance. It was the timing of everything. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you have your business, you have your ideas, you have your dreams and your goals, but you gotta pay attention to the whole landscape. You gotta pay attention to the economy, how it's gonna affect you. Like, we was trying to, you know, I had this great idea. Maybe I'll do it one day. I was gonna open a barbershop, bro.
That would have been dope.
It was gonna be one barbershop, and that was gonna be our store. And you would have all the slimes against the wall, right? You have like four, 6 barber chairs, black marble floor, you know what I'm saying? The epoxy, looking crazy, wild, exposed brick.
That's you,
bro.
Look.
That was gonna be my. Forget about having a soap shop. It was gonna be a freaking barbershop, and it was gonna be like Lush, but a barbershop, bro. It would have been crazy. You could have gone in there, checked out the soap, get a freaking washing style, bro.
You know you got people's wheels turning right now,
bro. That was gonna be it. That was gonna be it. Yes, that was gonna be it. That was my.
It still
goal.
Can be.
And I was like, man, that would have been so freaking fire. And then, you know, you could buy your slime, buy your Regal, get out the door with your little bag, have Swifts, have freaking rag dealer on the wall so you can get some do-rags, some OVB rags, some freaking, of course, rags. You know what I'm saying? Straight there. Girl, straight B.O.B. shop.
You jumping ahead because, you know, a lot of people, they trying to figure out, like, why is she doing all this talking about past tense? We gotta break down, how did we get, where do we stand now? And how did we get there? Let's put it that way.
Let's talk about it. When I quit my job, I made like 70 by that time of the year, right? And then with the business, we closed the business. I think I did 252. And I said, that's all I can do.
Is this?
Look at you brushing your hair. Just so. That's what waivers do. Waivers be so random with their sessions.
Nah, you know what, man? I might have to. This is better than a mirror, man. I might have to
Look at you. Just you had to test it out mid conversation. This is what waivers do, y'all. I swear, y'all got ADHD.
I'm sorry. I'm back. And we were talking about a serious subject too.
You just broke out in the waves. You know what I'm saying? He was like, let me just get this one angle. Ugh.
Hey, my bad.
Nah, y'all so funny. Nah, but those were my goals, right? Those are things I wanted to do. That's where I saw myself. But it was like, how am I going to get there? And how can I make this happen? And I'm burning myself. Like I'm burning the midnight can. I'm doing this stuff week in and week out every day. I'm tired. And it's just like, it was like, man, I think I'd rather say, hey, I did it and I have no regrets about it, that I never tried. And for somebody who tried for my first business, I did okay. So I am happy with that. Like
you did more than okay. So, I mean, I know we kind of tiptoeing a little bit, but there were some circumstances outside of, the biz that, kind of, made it a perfect storm for, you. Obviously, you were tired, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you were burning both ends of the candle, if you will. But there was also, part of it, like, the living situation, right?
Yeah, see, so I had a house in Boston that we rented, and like I was freaking love my landlord. I just talked to this guy like last week, and he came to me back in June. He was like, "What's up?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "We made a decision to sell the house." He's like, "The market is gonna crash, and we're trying to get ahead of that." And I was like, I looked that up. And, he told me like, oh, we already took out a second mortgage on this house. And, the capital gains tax from the other house we just bought, it's just too much. And I was like, all right. And, he made that I ran my business out the house. I was like, oh, crap. Like, oh, snap. You know what I mean? I have to liquidate. I have all this inventory and then I have all this equipment. I'm going to sell it. And I was selling it to other soap makers across the country. Other soap makers and body butters and all these other companies or whatnot. And then telling the customers that, it was like, what? Why are you closing? I'm like, I'm for real closing, bro.
So when you say that you're running the business out of the house, man, if y'all follow her on TikTok, what's your TikTok? We'll get into all of the handles later, but like,
Fluff the Queen.
Fluff the Queen. If you check out Fluff the Queen, she actually did a great job of kind of documenting her journey. And we were joking offline. She was saying that like her house was like a soap factory.
It was a soap factory, floor by floor.
There was like every room you went into, there was shelves and big old barrels and buckets and machinery and oil, ingredients,
butters, all that boxes
everywhere. So it some of y'all might think what's the big deal? This is the house was in essence like part of the livelihood of the business.
It really was, and it was like, and it was again with timing. Like, all right. Boston is very expensive to live, just anywhere. And even if you're not in the city, like even outside the city. So I'm looking for commercial real estate. This is like $8,000.
Shout out to my family in Boston, King, all my family up there, man. I'm sorry.
It's like $7,200 a month. Like, bro, this is expensive. I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if I can handle this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to close. And I was sad about it, but I wasn't, because I was like, I'm burdening myself. Like I love what I do. I love talking to people. I love all this stuff. But it was just like, I am not a machine at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Yeah. And so I think it was like, maybe, was it around like this time last year that you got COVID?
Dang, you remember that? I got COVID. We went to Bronner Brothers in 2020, and we went to Atlanta, and like 8 of us had COVID.
Yeah. So look,
that was
man,
2020.
That was 2020. Time is flying. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I was like, how do you remember that? That was so weird, though.
No, because I had an order. I had an order that I had. That's how I remember, because I was a customer and I had an order. That's how I remember. Like, I mean, can we talk about that? I had an order, bro. But look, you know, like, I am a grace-filled person. I am a grace-filled person. So, like, because you know, what's the golden rule? You know, doing to others and all that jazz. So listen, you know, I had an order and stuff like that, and
so I had an order. I'm half dead.
So, and
with this worldwide plague,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're not the only one. That's what makes it funny.
No, but like, but we got to talk about this, because you know we mentioned the engagement aspect, because all right, so we have Sisters Tide. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got the aspect of, you know, the whole soap factory is now needs to be relocated, and you know, you and the soap factory. But there's also the engagement part. So,
right.
You know, I placed my order, and you know, when it comes to, you said B.O.B., you know what I'm saying? When it comes to small businesses in general, you know, if I place an order online, and this is just me, I'm not tripping. I'm like, I'm gonna get it when I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping.
Man, a lot of people do.
No, but that's me. I'm not tripping. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it when I get it.
They be high aggressive. Nah. Let's talk about it. No.
Hold on.
Let's talk about it.
No, my turn. So look, you know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person where if it's like, maybe if like I just have this fleeting thought, like, dang man, I did place an order like a month ago. I mean, where is it? You know what I'm saying? If it gets like that, then that's something. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not like holding you to, you know, people say, oh, the order should be, you know, because some people that have the status, they're like, the order is being packaged or the order is being shipped. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know that none of that really means anything. The only thing that really means something is the order is delivered. Not that it's even out on delivery, that it's here. It's here.
Delivery, because it'll be saying it's delivered and it ain't even delivered. And then I got the customer be like, yo, they said the package is delivered and it's not here. And I'd be like, okay, but what am I supposed to do about that? What you think I am, Paul Revere? I'm on horseback riding around delivering packages.
And to be honest, this is when I found out that you were a lady. I didn't know that you were a lady until
in the background.
She was in the background. Like I'm thinking that I'm ordering this wave slime from, you know, someone that looks like me, but maybe their waves a little bit better. That's who I think I'm ordering this wave slime from. And then, you know what I'm saying, Alyssa comes on the screen and she's like, hey, I'm giving y'all an update, man. It's been like a rough period of time, man. I'm actually recovering from, you know what I'm saying, COVID. Like, yo, please bear with me. And I'm like,
he's like, who's this broad? It's
yeah. And I'm like, dog, people really acting up over this.
Because there be so many guy customers that I have. And then I have so many influencers that are guys. And then it's just be like, oh yeah, hi. You know what I mean? Like, nah, but you know, some people like acting up because they like being seen. But real talk, when I say, hey, okay, well, I give you your money back. Oh, I don't want my money. I want the product. So why are you making a scene, bro?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, dealing with that aspect when you are the chemist, the bottler, the shipper, the customer service, the content creator,
and then things just pile up.
The accountants.
If you take time off, things just pile up for you to do.
Right.
And you're like this.
So, you know, in essence, when that happened, you know, keep it real with me. In essence, when that happened, you were like, all right, this is my exit. It's time.
And when it happened, I was like this. Okay. But then I just thought about, I literally just quit my job in September, bro. I quit my job in September. I took my pension. I had my 401k. I had everything else. They gave me my severance package, right? They gave me all my vacation time that I never used because, like I said, I was always working. So they gave me like 12 grand in vacation time that I stacked up. And I was like, snap, I just left the uni. Wasn't that long ago. This happened in June. You know what I'm saying? I quit in September. I said, I can make this work. And then I thought about all my lenders that I had and how I had to pay those off too. That was crazy expensive. It was a lot. Just, you know, because it's like a business course. So that means the loan is due right now.
It's a lot, man.
It was a lot. It was a lot. It took months for me to transition. And I tell you, that house sold quick. That house sold dumb quick. And he made out big time. He literally like almost doubled what he paid for it. The house ended up selling for like $870 in like 4 weeks.
And that's even that aspect. The housing is legit because I know a couple of cases where people, their property managers have been coming to them like, hey, we about to sell this. We about to sell this. That's legit. So take that as a sign. There must be something on the horizon that's really about to go down because the people who are in the know are making some moves. So
they're making moves.
So take heed.
Yeah, they're saving the cash. That's what it is. Like this now's the time to save cash now because look at the inflation. Just the time to save cash because when everything hit, it's gonna be crazy. It'll be crazy.
So you mentioned all that is going on, and you had just made that move in September for with your main job and whatnot. So I don't want to just continue on the interview. You know what I'm saying? Like wellness check. How you doing now?
Wellness check. I'm doing all right. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm getting clarity. I've been doing a lot of meditation. You know what I mean? Practice and just like how to just settle myself, balance out everything, and just thinking. I do a lot of reflection. I always do a lot of reflection on everything, and I could see like what if I ever started a business again, what I would do different. I could see exactly how things would go. I could see exactly how things would go with me personally. And this is like a real good growth period. I feel like it's a growth period for me. You know what I mean? Like, I was able to do this. I'm moving into consulting. I consult with small businesses now. I help them out with their marketing. I help them out with their strategy so that they can be able to scale, help them, that. And that's based off of my experience. So I feel like in a way I'm failing forward. And it's just like a natural transition, like a natural flow now for me. And that's like, when I'm talking to these small businesses, I'm like, how much did you make this year? One lady says she's in New York. She made 40 grand this year. And for her, it's a big deal. And I said, okay, that's good. But what are your plans for the next 3 years? Oh, I haven't thought that far out yet. You need to. I'm literally warning people now. Like, this is what you got to do. This is what you shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Because of the experience that I gained. Then, even with the community that I have, I reconnected with them, talked to people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I talk to them. Some of them have my number. They just call me up. Just ghosting. You know what I mean? Because it's like, the people that want to support you will. The people that want to support you will support you. And then, the people that don't support you for whatever reason it is, whether it's family or friends, whoever it is, they have their resistance and you have to move on from it. You have to move on from it. You know what I mean? You can't base what you do on other people. You have to base it off of your passion, what you want to accomplish. And what I wanted to accomplish was showing people a better way to cleanse, showing people a better way to go about their day. You got 2 products. You got Regal and Slime. You're good. You're done. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't need Dax. You could, but you really don't need it. If you want to do a good hold, you double compress. You're good for the day. You want something light? Okay, use a luxury balm. But then again, it's multi-purpose. You can use it on your skin too. Like, you know what I mean? It's simplifying the process. So I accomplished that. I was happy with that. I was happy with what we did. And I wish that, maybe towards the end, things could be better. But it is what it is. And I'm good with myself. Like, I don't have regrets about it.
You shouldn't. Like I said, I hope that, people, truly give you your flowers for, the impact that you made in the waving community. And I selfishly, let me just throw this out here selfishly. Some people want to know, because they got an itch. They want to know where they can still get some of this. You know what I'm saying? You got some plugs or anything that you want to shout out?
All right, so I'm talking with Tef right now, which is Mr. Overwash. He's the creator of Earl's Course. So it's Earl's-Course, COARSE, like coursehair.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to Tef, and he said he wanted to do slime. And I was already doing a version for him from a while ago. So I was like, yeah. So he's doing that now. And then Regal 9, which is one of our most popular conditioning growth oil, he's going to be doing that in full production soon. And so we're talking about that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like I said before, which I've said, like, if there was a B.O.B. interested in buying the formula off me, that's no problem. But he's going forward with that, and I'm showing him exactly how to do it, like to make it as close as to my original. Because with me, I make my own bases, but I'm showing him how to do it. You know what I'm saying? His people, I should say. I'm showing his people how to do it in production and get it right. Right? And then it's like Regal, he's gonna have that right, and then he could take that, and then the customers can go to him. And in regards to skin, because I do a lot of skincare products, you'd have to find some other brand, because like with me, I looked to a company called Biolage. I was Briolage. I always pronounce their name wrong. But they are like, for me, I always look up to them like big sister. Like, that's who I always wanted to be. So I base a lot of my skincare off of them. But there's like 68 a container, 72 jar. You know what I'm saying? But I was like trying to make my product something that's like more economical, but it's just as good with like rich ingredients. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the simple, the better. I think a lot of B&Bs, they see what other people are doing and they want that for themselves, but you gotta make your own way. And you have to be willing to make mistakes and do something different. Everybody's trying to create a brush, a comb, a bar. Bro, how many people do you need to buy bars off of? You're limiting yourself because you're boxing yourself in a corner, essentially. You're not giving yourself creative freedom to try and take a risk. You took a risk doing slime. You took a risk and it paid off. And when we were doing that risk, people thought we was crazy. They would say that slime's not that good.
100, one
they
ounce.
said it was overrated. They said that it was
Wow.
it wasn't that good. Bars are better. But now look, right?
That's
No
amazing.
comment.
So slime is the best. So we talked about making the pivot. We talked about like taking an inventory, and that's one of the reasons that I originally reached out to you. Obviously, I have a couple ways, but that's not the mere reason that I reached out to you. I thought it was very inspiring to see, you make a couple of jumps. I've witnessed a couple of jumps, right? You had obviously the jump completely into the community, but you still have personal friends and lifelong friends that you have because of the work that you've done, but you've also taken a step back from that, and you're really doing more consulting now. A couple of weeks ago, I just came back from homecoming. I went to HBCU, University of Eastern Shore. Shout out Hawks. All right, yeah. And when I was there was a lot of people. They wanted to talk about a couple things. A lot of them, they may know that my young son, he plays the drums. They always ask about that and whatnot. A couple people asked about the business. You know what I'm saying? I got on one of my think tank hoodies right now. But a lot of people were asking about the podcast.
Right.
And, I've told some people because, I came from the pulpit. I'm an ordained minister. I came from the pulpit. I've been on a bit of a sabbatical for the past 2 years. And since I've been doing the podcast, it feels even more natural than being in the pulpit. Like, this is my calling. And it's been really cool to get the feedback from people that I didn't know, were listening or, had tuned in, and they're talking about these different things, these different issues, and them encouraging my gifts. Like, people who have no dogs in their fight. Of course, you hope that certain people will say nice things, but people who didn't have to say anything at all, went out of their way to let me know that you're making that impact. And so, it's really been kind of like, the battery in my back to, push this thing to the next level. Scaling comes in different forms. In the future, I'd like to have, the whole studio set up, invite guests in, do the whole nine. And that's where I see this going in the future. But the message is there, and the impact is already being made. So to see you make this pivot, like, you came, you saw, you conquered, you know what I'm saying? You learned your lessons, I know without a shadow of a doubt, because, what's in you, the grit, the hustle, that, whatever you set your mind to, you're going to achieve. You're going to reach those heights. You know what I'm saying? You already got the keys. So, I might have to holler at you, see if I can
Can't even book a call.
Find out some of those, some of that secret sauce, you know what I'm saying? But as we're wrapping up, man, what are there any more nuggets that you would like to pass on to those who are thinking about starting a business or maybe are just underway? You shared a lot, but
I would say if you wanted to start, but understand that if you're trying to go into a business and you have an idea for a product and you come up with the product first and you don't have a way of marketing it, you're doing it wrong, try to do your homework, ask questions. You have to be curious. You need to be curious.
Yes.
If you want to know about marketing, why don't you go online and find a marketing team and ask them a question in the email? The worst they can say is, we're not going to help you. You're not asking. You're stop comparing yourself to the next person. You're not them. Your journey is going to be totally different. The way that things are going to work for you is totally different. You're not living their life. All you're doing is basing what you see on the facade. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Don't compare yourself to the next person. Ask questions, and if you want to start. But you also have to be willing to understand that not every business works out, and you may fail, but you're going to learn along the way. So stop being scared of failing. Stop being scared of failing. Stop doing that to yourself. You're limiting yourself. You're not giving yourself enough credit. Whatever reason it is that you don't have the courage to go to the next step, when you have an idea or a passion, and then that leads to later on in your life, you resent that you took your time or that you didn't do it. And you don't want to live with that.
That's so good. That's so good. I didn't mean to cut you off, but something that just jumped out at me is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of failing. If anything, be afraid of not having a purpose.
Or find your purpose. You have to find it sometimes. Sometimes we get in our own way.
That's real. That's real. So now you're on,
TikTok.
Most people are gonna be able to TikTok.
TikTok.
You're on TikTok, and you've been giving out nuggets, and it was pretty cool seeing you, do like a countdown to Black Friday for a lot of businesses, and talking about some of the things that they needed to, like Black Friday's coming. Black Friday's coming. What you got going on?
Because they was psyching themselves out, bro.
Right.
They was like, oh, well, what happened? Or, oh, no one's going to buy from us. I was like, how you know that? What you've been doing all year, whatever you did all year and it didn't work, you're going to have to try something different. Let's talk. You know what I mean? Some people just pay me just to talk. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do it. You know what I mean? But the knowledge can only work if you apply it. And it's like I said, you unlearn some of your own habits. Sometimes you got to get out your own way with that stuff, man. I loved Black Friday. Our Black Friday is always slammed. We had a good time on Black Friday. We would do the slime boxes. We would do the box sets. People would love that stuff. They had a great time. So,
it's funny. Like I said, for all the way up until you got the COVID a couple years ago, I couldn't put a face with the business. But now, on TikTok, you're there every day. You're there every day, sharing that content, providing, all sort of good info for, business owners, and, you got the blueprint for, and it's wild, man, because you've been like really kind of humble and like downplaying like the success that you had.
It's not
like,
that.
You have, man. Like,
nah, it's not that.
When we talked on the phone and you were being very candid with me, man. Like, I'll be honest. At one point, I might have threw up in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? When you were talking about some of the numbers, and so, like, she's been to a place that a lot of us would hope to get to. You know what I'm saying? And she's bumped her head, a few times along the way, but she's learned from it. But she's also, as she mentioned earlier, been able to get there, because of her curiosity. Because of her curiosity, she was able to, invent and reinvent and pivot and adapt, which are all things that come with the journey if you truly want to be a successful business owner or entrepreneur.
Right. That's what you got to do. You have to.
That's what's up, man. Well, I really appreciate your time. And, as we're winding down, can you do me a favor and just plug your social medias and give a message to the waivers and those who are, haven't seen you in a while or wondering what's up. Maybe they just woke up from being asleep for the last 6 months or something, give a message to.
Okay, what up? How y'all doing? I'm Fluff. You can find me on Instagram. I'm barely on Instagram anymore, but it's still active. Like, I've been active recently. It's my Fluffy Puffs Instagram. And then on TikTok, Fluff the Queen. So you can see me there all the time and whatever. And honestly, I learned a lot from the weed community. I learned a lot about how you guys value hair health and the way you approach it and how you demonstrate to each other. You know what I mean? Like you said, hacks. How people try to make different methods. Some methods are good, some methods are crazy. But either way, the activity of the wave community is very different compared to the natural hair community as a whole. And it's one of those niches where it's like an underground thing. You know what I mean? Real underground vibes to it. And it was pretty cool. So.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show, Fluff.
Thank you.
Maybe we can get a follow-up and, see what's going on with you next, man, because you always on the move. You always got something going on. So I'm excited to see where you'll be in a couple of years, man, because you got great gifts, and I'm excited, man. But thank you so much for joining us on the show. This is a wrap for this episode of the Think Tank Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, love you. God bless.
Thank you very much. Bye.